Well, hope everybody had a fine day. Oh gosh. Hope the storms didn't get anybody. Looked like they might have had a few. So, my last video about the rapture, if you weren't caught up in it, don't give up. Hope. God's got plans for you. Not too many comments on that. I guess people kind of figured that one out. I know there are some people that think that it's a given they're going to be raptured. And I hope they are. Hope you're not stuck here going through hell. God will still protect you. But does that tell you anything at the very end? They'll beat their spears into plowshares, plows, and so on and so forth. Does that tell you that we don't have some big nuclear exchange and mutual destruction and all the other bullcrap? I'm not saying we all might have a tactical nuclear there, maybe. But there's a lot of rhetoric out there. The dollar has to fall. It has to take Babylon out of the picture. So Israel can fight on. See, all these people sit here and tell you about how Israel's they're going to get their ass handed to them. Boy, you just watch. All these people going to gang up on them and blah, blah, blah. Haven't been paying attention to the Bible, have they? Does that tell you how screwed up these people are? I mean, if you're going to have a conflict of such magnitude, all these countries will be devastated. Won't be any electricity. Water will be poisoned. Food will be poisoned. So who'll be left? Who's going to beat their spears into plows? Do you understand what I'm saying? You have a lot of these people out there and they're just shooting their mouths off. They have no clue. I don't have to sit there and read all the rhetoric of the day. I can go to the end of the chapter and tell you what's going to happen. And I always find it interesting, too, that the quote authorities, worldwide or not, are going to dictate to you and me and everyone else of how we're going to do things. You got a few little idiots out there that are going to tell everyone how they're going to live. They're going to take this shot. They're going to stay inside. They're going to show you your papers. The whole 9 yards. They're going to tell you. Now they're going to have their little minions out there. And when you look at the population and look at their few little minions, that'd be like taking candy from a baby. There ain't enough of them. So why would you be so docile and allow that to happen to yourselves? You don't have enough self-respect, dignity. You're just going to allow these people just to walk all over you? Because they said they can. Because their law that they make says they can do that. First of all, no one gave them the right to make the law. There's no right to do that. They don't have it. I mean, you seem to think these people have some special magic powers, and they don't. They're the danger. They're the dangers to society. These few and their minions. They show up on a scene and gonna escalate things, get mad and angry and yell and scream and holler and rip people out of cars, bust their property, violate their rights. I mean, and do anything they want to you. Because the law says they could do that. Whose law? You got a right to defend yourself, folks. That's the law. You got a right to defend yourself. The only person, the only entity of the entire universe that has a right to anything is God Almighty. The rest of these, they're nothing. They're nothing to you. There's going to come a point in time when you're going to have to make a decision. And those minions are going to have to make a decision. See, when the minions are out there and they're causing destruction to your property and violating your rights physically, mentally, and their policy is policy. Policy's nothing. It's not even a law. And the fact of the matter is they don't have the right to make the law. Well, they'll tell you they do. But our founding fathers would say no, they don't. They are governed by you. You are Caesar. And you are governed by God. You get your strength and power and authority from God, and these minions get their anything that you give them. But they don't ask, they take. That's what tyrants and dictators do. They take. They go out and they're unchecked. They're unstable. Absolute power, absolute corruption. They seem to think, oh, they have occupational immunity. That's funny. You have immunity, period. That's called God Almighty. And then you go back to the founding fathers and the Declaration of Independence, and there's your immunity if they want to play with the law. Because they violated it. They violated their oath. There's nothing in the Constitution that they have the right to delegate their responsibility to anyone. They have to ask permission. That's right. They have to ask permission to do anything. But they don't. They just, we're going to take a vote. We're going to take a vote. We're going to take a vote. We're going to write this. We're going to do that. And they don't have the right to do that. Anything that they get comes from the consent of the people. You have to remember that. The people. Not their Supreme Court, not their courts, not their DAs, not their judges, not their minions. It comes from you. They have to ask permission. And everything they do doesn't benefit you, benefits them and their pocketbook. Then they sit there and try to say, "Oh, we're immune from all these because we have immunity because we wrote in the law we have immunity." No, no one has immunity. You see, when you do things, you're going to answer for them, and you're going to answer to God. And they're going to answer to God. They don't have immunity. They try to say they have immunity, but they don't. The whole system is a lie, is a manipulation and a fabrication. And they just try to sit there and tell you that they're in charge. They have the authority. They're honorable. Honor and respect something you earn. They haven't earned it. It's always funny when you could be someplace, anywhere, public, and they seem to think they got every right to push you around and boss you around. And they don't. There's going to come a time, folks, in the not so distant future, where you're going to have to stand up. Everybody's got all the answers. Oh, you got gold and you got silver and you got barter and you got all these things. Bartering face to face with people that you don't know, even if people you do know, when times are about survival, are dangerous. Bartering is dangerous. But you listen to these preppers and stuff, and they got all the answers. The only answer is God. People seem to think they just sit back and God's going to take care of it all. And yes, He can if He chooses to do so. He can do it all. But you still got to get off your ass and do something. If you just sit there and do absolutely nothing, they will come and they will take everything. Can God stop that? Yes, He can. But where do you, as a Christian, stand up and say, no, I won't be treated like that? Your Creator made you a free person, gave you free will, gave you commandments, moral laws, gave you a book that tells you what you need to know. You have to figure it out for yourself. If you want to sit there and be downtrodden and led around by the snout and led into some gas chambers or prisons or refugee camps or whatever you want to call them, that's your choice. You went along with it. I've carried on long enough. You got my point. Keep praying for these people. Keep praying. Praying for yourself and your loved ones. See, God's got ways of doing things that we're just not privy to know. We're that stupid. We're that ignorant. You haven't seen a fraction of God's miracles. You haven't seen a fraction of what God can do. Someday you'll understand. Someday we'll all understand. So y'all take care.